there guys, it's Tina and I am back and I am here with another Get Ready With Me makeup tutorial featuring this fun look. You've already seen it in the intro, but I am using two new palettes that I have in my collection. These are from Makeup Menagerie, formerly Makeup Monsters, but both these palettes are available on the Makeup Menagerie website. They used to be Makeup Monsters, but they've rebranded since. They're more focused on animals now and the preservation of certain species, so they do a lot with animal charities. So if you want to check them out, definitely check them out. But if you want to see this look and how I created it, then stay tuned and I will talk to you soon. Alright guys, so as usual, I'm starting off with a clean, freshly washed face, and the first thing I'm going in with is a facial essence. This is from Fresh. It's their Black Tea Kombucha Facial Treatment Essence. It's Anti-Pollution Age Delay. This is just a silky liquid, and it is a pre-moisturizer treatment. It helps to balance your skin, and it also helps to give this lightweight layer of moisture before you go in with heavier serums or primers. Then my next step is to fill in my brows as I usually do. So I'm going in with a little bit of eyeshadow primer. This is from Sephora. It's the Beauty Amplifier Perfecting and Smoothing Eye Primer. And I apply this to my eyebrows so that it preps my brows for all the products that we're going to apply. They won't slip around, they will stay in place, and it will also help them apply a little bit easier. To fill in my brows, I'm using the Benefit Precisely My Brow Pencil in shade 4.5. This is such a beautiful shade for my brows. It's not too deep, but it's still dark enough to fill in my dark brows, and it has a neutral undertone, so it's not going to show up too red or too warm on my eyebrows or on my skin. So I'll outline my brows, fill them in, you know, extend the tail, create the arch, all that good stuff. And then once I fill in the brows and have the shape down, I will go in with a flat top brush and just work the product through the start of my brow so it fades out a little bit. I don't want any harsh lines, right? So we're just going to use the brush to work the product in, and then I'll go in with the spoolie side of the pencil and further diffuse the product throughout my brows, so it's not too harsh, not too heavy, even though these brows are still a little intense, but we must proceed. Next, I'm gonna go in with my eyeshadow primer. This is the MAC Prep and Prime 24-Hour Extend Eye Base. I apply this to my eyelids because my eyelids are very oily and everything will crease and slip around and get crazy. So I always apply an eyeshadow primer to my eyelids before going in with anything else. Then I'm gonna clean up under my brows with a little bit of concealer. This is from Kevyn Aucoin. It's the Etherealist Supernatural Concealer. The shade I'm using is Medium EC06. I apply that directly under my brows. It's going to help clean up the shape of my arch, add a little bit more detail and definition. I will blend that out using my Anastasia number 18 concealer brush to create that sharp outline and shape. And then I'm going to blend that out using a Real Techniques Expert concealer brush. This is just going to diffuse the edges of the concealer so it doesn't get cakey or creasy or greasy. Alright, so after all that prep, let's go ahead and apply a little primer to my nose. I'm using the NYX Angel Veil just because I don't want it to be as shiny on camera. It's quite distracting. It's like Rudolph, so yeah, let's just mattify that a little bit. Is that better? Are we less distracted now? And I do have a friend that will be keeping us company. It's very painful and I don't want to discuss. It hurts. I hate painful pimples. I don't care about how it looks. Like, I don't apologize for my appearance at all, so I'm not gonna be like, oh, this is ugly. No, it's human. It's what happens to our faces. But why does it have to be so painful? Why do I feel like something is trying to like escape from my face? Because that's what it feels like, and I need to discuss something with management because it's not okay. Anyway, enough of that. Let's go in with a little bit of primer. I'm using the Kat Von D High Voltage Primer in the shade, what shade is this? Skin. We are going to do some intense stuff today, so I really want to make sure that my primer is on another level. You can use other primers, like a white primer. Smashbox has one, Urban Decay has one. You also have the NYX eyeshadow primer. They have a white base as well. They also have the Jumbo Pencil in Milk, which is also a great one. And a more recent fan favorite is the P. Louise base that everybody has been raving about. I personally don't see it as that great. It's okay, but it's just a standard creamy base. But if you have the Kat Von D base, which I have recommended before, if you have this in your collection, now is the time to pull this out. I know people aren't really supporting her, but if you happen to have it, it is time to pull it out. As mentioned in the intro, we are using palettes from Makeup Menagerie, previously known as Makeup Monsters. So I have the Dragon Child palette, and I also have their newest palette, which is the Feral palette. Let's show you what these guys look like. So this is the Dragon Child palette. Beautiful. Love the colors. Love the color scheme. And then we have the Feral palette. Now, there aren't really crossover shades in these two palettes, which I appreciate. And I think they actually complement each other. There are a lot of shades here that I can use together. So that's why I'm kind of mixing and mingling with the two of them. We're having them cohabitate. So I am going in with this teal shade here, which is Myth or Legend, just on the tip of a Wayne Goss number 19 brush. And I'm going to lightly apply this in my inner crease area, creating somewhat of a C shape. Should I zoom in? I think I should. So we're just lightly creating that inner cut crease. I am not really the type of person that makes a mess and then worries about blending and cutting the crease with concealer. I try to keep the crease in that shape so I don't have a lot of cleanup to do. And this brush is really small, so it's good if you have smaller eyes or you're trying to do detailed work such as this. So I'm just going back and forth windshield wiper motions to fade that out. I'm not trying to have that stick too much to this base because it can do that. So I'm blending, going back and forth, circular motions, windshield wiper motions to fade the edges of that color out at the same time as I'm applying it, because it will just make it a little bit easier in the end. And that blends beautifully. Oh my god. Now that we have the teal down, I want to go in with the matte bright blue called Dragon Rider. And I want to put that right next to the teal shade. I didn't even need this step, but that blue was just too pretty to say no to. So I'm just putting that kind of on the center of the crease and pulling it out. It really doesn't look that... It does, actually. I see the teal. I see the difference in the two shades. These are really pigmented, so you only need a little bit at a time. You don't need to pick up very much, especially with this base. I literally just lightly tapped my brush, and if you pick up too much, you're gonna get fallout. So just make sure that whatever product is on your brush is packed into the bristles, so you can just tap it off. I don't really tap my brushes off like in the air. I will tap in the actual pan of eyeshadow to leave the excess there rather than bringing it all over. So I use the same application technique to apply the blue, and now I'm going in with a clean blending brush. This is from Dahlia Tools. It's the 783 small tapered blending brush, and I'm just using this to go around the edge of the colors now, to really help fade that out into the crease line, because I don't want it to be too heavy. I want it to really diffuse upwards. And you use, again, buffing motions, circular motions, windshield wiper motions. That will help to diffuse the color quickly. Now I'm going into the Feral palette. I'm going to pick up the shade Wisteria very lightly on my brush. And this is a matte kind of coral pink. It's not like a true bright pink. It's definitely more of a coral, and I'm gonna use the same 783 brush from Dahlia and lightly blend that on my outer crease area on the brow bone. I'm keeping it on the brow bone, not really going too far into the crease. This is gonna act as the transition between the blue and the purple. It's gonna give that fade and blend to the purple shade that we're gonna put down shortly. So I'm just lightly building that up. Again, one touch of the brush in the palette is enough to get the color that we want. And I'm just going back and forth again to pull that color upwards. So it's a nice fade. Do you see that? Beautiful. Now let's go back into the Dragon Child palette. I'm going to grab two shades here. I'm grabbing Worm and Cave Dweller, which is the deep blue, but it looks a little like a deep purple as well. It has a purple shift to it, but I'm going to mix these two shades to get the level of purple that I need. So I'll literally just tap, get the purple, and tap, and get a little blue. That's it. This is a ColourPop E9 brush, so I'm going to use that color now in the crease line. And I'm going to just lightly build that up, again, following the crease line area. And we're going to use that pink as our blend-in shade. So I'm just going back and forth. And I switched to the ColourPop brush because it is a lot more stiff than the Wayne Goss brush. So it's going to give us a little bit more color payoff and intensity. It's not going to allow us to blend as much, but it will give us that great pigmentation that we want from these shades. So I'll place that down and then I'll go in with a fluffier blending brush to blend that in a second. Now that I have the color down, I cleaned off the majority of the color on my 783 brush from Dahlia. And this is what I'm going to use to blend between the purple and the pink now. So I'm using this circular motions again and the windshield wiper motions back and forth to blend out the harsh edges. And what you can do is pick up a little bit of the pink and go between the shades, and then pick up a little bit of the purple again and go between the shades. And this is going to help with the blend. So we already have the color intensity down, so that's not what I'm worried about. I'm not worried about placing the color anymore. I'm just worried about getting the transition and blend between the two shades nice and seamless. So you just go back and forth and you keep blending until you no longer see the harsh lines. The thing is, it's tricky because you don't want this to get muddy at all. You want it to keep a beautiful, like, you want to see the difference in the colors. You want it to be pretty. You don't want it to just get muddy and ugly. So blend lightly back and forth to get that nice fade. I think that's good. Now we're going to go into the Feral palette and we're going to grab the shade Allium. This is a beautiful purple as well. And I want to add a little brightness to this purple that there we go. A little bit more brightness. This one was a little bit too subdued for me. So I'm just going to use the same 783 brush that we've been using and build up that purple a little bit on that same outer crease, outer V, and blend it out. That is fantastic. That looks amazing. Now let's go ahead and do a little cleanup of the cut crease. So I'm using the concealer brush that we used before. Really detailed shape, Anastasia Beverly Hills. Love this concealer brush. And I'm going over the lid, mostly on the inner half of the lid, to create that cut crease shape. So we're cleaning up where we went over the line that we want. But you see, I don't have too much color coming all the way down, so it's a little bit easier to clean up without leaving behind a muddy mess on our lid. So I'm pulling that maybe 2/3 of the way across, maybe even 3/4, but not all the way out to the outer lid area or our outer crease. And I like to hold my lid taut or my skin taut so that I can get a seamless line and my lid isn't moving around too much as I'm trying to get a really sharp, defined outline. Okay, now I have the shape down. I'm going to kick it a little old school. I'm grabbing Blanc type eyeshadow from MAC. I'm grabbing another Dahlia Tools brush. This is the 773 shading brush. And I'm going to apply the Blanc type shadow right over the concealer or base that we have down, I should say. This is probably going to get all over the place right now, but it's a white, so I'm not worried about fallout at all. I'm just trying to get that color right over that base so it sets it in place and it doesn't start creasing. Now, if you really want to kick it old school, I'm going in with my Dahlia eyeshadow from Stila. This is a matte, deep, dark, like eggplant purple, and I'm applying that to my outer V and outer crease. This brush is a 767 round blender brush from Dahlia Tools. Again, these brushes are from their Golden Triangle collection. See how dark that purple is? You can even mix in a black with one of the purples from one of the palettes, but since I have this shadow, if you have a black and purple like this, feel free to use it. Sometimes I wish Stila had kept their single eyeshadows, but they were just way too expensive, so I know why people weren't buying them. But they were so good, especially their rich dark shades. They were so good. So I'm just blending now the edges of the color, blending it in with the rest of the purples with my regular blender brush, the one we've been using forever now. Now I want to get some green in there, but I feel like this is going to be a mistake, but we're going to go for it, and then we're going to step back if we need to. But I'm going to go in with Sleeping Dragon, which is the green from the Dragon Child palette. Whew, wish me luck. This is a Wayne Goss 20 brush. I'm just running that right on the lower edge of the outer lash line. So like I'm keeping it below the crease. I'm not pulling it upwards towards the crease because I don't want it to interfere with the other shades that we have, because I don't think it's gonna go. I just want like a pop of green right there. Nothing crazy, nothing too much. And this is a beautiful green as well. Oh my god, I can't wait to use this in another look where it can be a standout. But for right now, it's just gonna play a little, you know, supporting role. Nothing crazy. And again, keeping it on the lash line, like closer to the lash line. So it just peeks up. Doesn't really try to overwhelm anybody. You know what I mean? It's not like, oh, I'm the star, get out of here. No, you're just the supporting role. Let's grab another clean blending brush. I'm just grabbing any brush at this point. It's just a clean blender. It doesn't matter which one you have, just a clean brush. You can also clean off the other brushes if you don't have, you know, multiple brushes to go through. But this is why I love having multiple brushes, because I can do this. Going back and forth. Okay, that's perfect. Going back into the purple from the Feral palette, just a little bit, and then put it on that outer V, outer C next to the really dark purple, so that it peeks through, that it's not too dark on that outer part. Because right now it really looks black, so I want in-between shade between the green and that dark purple. Green and purple don't really blend, so I'm not expecting them to be like friends right now. I just need them to coexist. Just don't try to fight each other. Don't get muddy. Don't get sassy. Just coexist and blend together. I think that looks pretty good. I'm going to add a little bit more of the dark purple, making sure everything blends and fades into each other nicely. There's nice like gradation rather than, oh, here's a green, here's a dark purple, here's a black. Boom. All right, let's do a little face action because, you know, before we finish up the eyes. The eyes are they're really fun right now. Anyway, I'm going in with this Tarte, what is it called? The Timeless Smoothing Primer. And I'm going to apply a little bit of that around my nose area. Okay, let's back up, mirror. I actually do like this primer. The recommendation was from Mel Thompson here on YouTube. She like raves about this primer and I'm like, it can't be that good, right? And Tarte was on a little timeout for me anyway. But I said, you know what? I'm going to try it out. And it is a really nice primer. This pimple is aggravated. It is like, girl, if you don't let me be. And I've let it sit. Like, I've let it. But, you know, I'm trying to film something. So it's just going to have to, you know, bear with me. For the foundation, I'm going to use my Fenty Pro Filter Foundation. Shade is 360. And a little bit of my Dior Forever Foundation. Shade is 50. See the difference in shade? Yes. So I put a little bit on my little, you know, my soap dish. And let's apply that all over the skin with my Marc Jacobs The Face 3 brush. I have been really liking this foundation combination. I know nobody wants to make like a Dior foundation. Imagine the expense that's going on my face right now. A Dior foundation with a Fenty foundation. Like, get over yourself, Tina. But I really love the combination and I just can't get a perfect match for the Fenty foundation. Even though 360 is probably the closest I've gotten to a pretty good match. It's not too light. It doesn't come off ashen. It doesn't come off too yellow. It's a great neutral undertone. The depth is something is a little bit off, so I do need to mix it with the deeper Dior foundation. So yeah, we'll make it work. I already have it, so it's not like I had to go out and get it separately. So if you have foundations in your collection and your shades are all off, mix them. Why not? What's the harm? Don't go out and like buy this. Like, don't buy this combination. Mix it with another foundation in your collection. You may have one already that is just a shade off and you need to mix it in. But I don't think anybody needs to do this. And it's funny because I believe Fenty is one of those lines where you should be able to find your perfect match, but I haven't. So I'm making do. Now, that looks fantastic. All right, I sound a little bit obnoxious. My whole concealer drawer just fell out. Serves me damn right. Talking mess, that's what I get. Anyway, let's go in with some concealer. So I am using the Kevyn Aucoin concealer. I have EC08. Pop that under the eyes, and I mix in, again, this is not something you should be doing, and a little bit of E06, which is that lighter shade. I always end up trying to put way too much of this concealer on, but it's really not that bad because it's not like a cakey concealer at all, so it blends out really nice. I'm using my e.l.f. sponge. This sponge is divine. I love this sponge so much. So I'm just gonna blend that out under my eyes, just tapping motions. This concealer, I can't say enough about it. This is almost one I would be like, get 2 shades in it. Just get 2 shades. Just bite the bullet and get 2 shades because it's worth it and you can use it. You can use one shade that's your exact skin tone to cover dark spots like I'm about to do, and you can use a lighter shade to brighten up under your eyes. I know a lot of people like to use lighter concealer for that, so you can use it as a brightening concealer as well. Back into E08, and I'm gonna put a little bit around my mouth to cover up some of that darkness. You see the darkness around my mouth? That helps to cover it up, and a little bit over my little acne marks that I have now, and a little over this angry spot, because it is angry. Yeah, that should do. I might even put a little bit of the brighter color, just the dot, so it doesn't come off too deep, you know what I mean? And again, just pounce over that, blend it out. And you see it blends in so easily with my skin and with the foundation underneath. It just works well. I can't say enough about it. And I hope some of you guys got your hands on it during the Sephora sale. Oh, that hurts so much. Okay, we're not gonna focus on that. We're just gonna blend things out. All right, there we go. I have a live stream coming up with Georgia Harris and Lacie from Spooky Hips and Fat Lips. No, Fat what? Spooky Lips and Fat Hips. So I'm kind of hurrying along because they want to get it started pretty soon and my makeup needs to be done in time. So buff that out. Then we're gonna set the face. I'm using my Black Up powder. This is their two-way cake. The shade I use is number 2, and this is my Smashbox Kabuki brush that curves a little bit so it fits the face perfectly. And I'm just pressing that powder into the skin. All right, once we have that down, let's go ahead and do mascara because we're going to finish up the eyes, but I am going to apply lashes, so I just want to slap some mascara on my upper lash line right now to save some time. You know what this is. This is the Too Faced Better Than Sex, but it ain't better than sex. It's better than a lot of mascaras, just not necessarily sex. Well, it depends on who, right? For my lashes, I'm going to go into this lash book from Ardell. It has all their wispies and like all the different styles. I think I'm going to go with this one, which is the double wispy. So I'm going to prep those and get back to the rest of the face.
Did you hear what they said about Makeup Geek?
And I agree with them 100% in their last couple of videos. I'm recording, so don't mind me.
They said something along the lines of, basically, like, everything they've been releasing as of late is just a whole bunch of, like, you're just trying to get rid of stock and you're just repackaging some shit.
Well, Marlena had said that.
Yeah. Because I thought that holiday palette looked like the Manny palette, but with, like, a green instead of a red. Yep.
That's exactly what it is. She's just trying to get rid of the old eyeshadows from the Jaclyn Hill failed collection. And then she has stock of all those 9-pan palettes. So she's like pushing them out because she's going to do the whole rebranding thing.
Did you see that Marseille, the prices, she dropped all of them?
Did she? I didn't even check.
Yeah, I think it was way overpriced, and then the prices dropped, and now the skirt's like $150 or something, but it's still, I would never pay $150 for a skirt.
Worst of all, a skirt from Marlena. The hell? For what? All right, so I literally just did a 2-hour podcast with Georgia Harris and Lacie from Spooky Lips and Fat Hips. I will leave that link below in case you want to check it out. It got a little dramatic. There was a lot going on, and now I need to finish this makeup and go wash my face and go to bed because I have work in the morning. So I will leave both their channels linked below. You should check them out, and I will leave the link to the podcast in case you want to check that out as well. 2 hours of chatting with the ladies, and the funny thing is we didn't even really chat about what we intended to, which was Black Friday makeup shopping and holiday shopping. We ended up talking about prison and ramen and me punching people in the face. It was a hot, dramatic mess. So let's finish up the eyes. So here are the lashes on. I did show you that. So I think I'm going to go in with a bit of the orange right here from the Feral palette. And this one is called Mariposa. And I'm going to run that on the lower lash line. Just on the outer lower lash line with a MAC 242. And then I'm going to go in with Huchera, which is the shimmery green. Again, same brush, the 242. This one, I think you might need to dampen it a little bit to get really crazy color payoff. I'm still going to dampen my brush a little bit using my Smashbox primer water just to get that shimmer to really pop. Wait, that doesn't pop. It doesn't really show up even with the primer water. Okay, it shows up a little bit the more you dampen it, but I feel like I have to really press my brush into that shade. Okay, so this is probably my least favorite shade of the palette, but it did pretty decent for what I needed it for, which is just on the lower lash line, so it's not that big a deal. Lower lash mascara is my MAC Extended Play Giga Black Lash Mascara. I am kind of rushing through this at this point because I just want to finish up. Then I'll put a black lower waterline liner on. This is my Urban Decay 24/7 liner pencil in Perversion. Slap that on. And since it's late, let's not get too creative with the face. Let's just do something really simple because I think the focus of this tutorial should really be the eyes anyway. So let's just put an easy blush on. This is the Clinique Fig Pop. This is a really nice everyday blush for me. I hesitated buying these for a long time because I'm like, they're not that great. The lighter shades are way too light. They don't have that much pigmentation to them. But Fig Pop, which is one of the deepest shades they have, is actually a really nice shade on my skin tone. It reminds me of Gingerly from MAC, but just like a little touch more colorful. And I really like it. It gives a really subtle look to the cheeks. Should I do a highlighter? I really don't want to, but I'll do it anyway because, you know, I don't even wear highlighters day to day, if I'm honest with you guys. It sounds really bad, but I have so many highlighters that I don't use, and I got them just because they're really pretty. That makes no sense. That is not a reason to get makeup, guys, but that's what I did. So I have the Cover FX Candlelight Highlighter. Is it a highlighter or a bronzer? It's a highlighter. I'm just going to use my Sephora highlighter brush. This is one of the magnetic ones. So this is a really subtle highlighter on my skin tone. It looks like just a face powder if you look at it, but that's what I like in my highlighters, a really subtle glow, nothing too crazy. And for the lips, can we just make this really simple? Let's do something really basic. I'm literally just gonna use the Dose of Colors lip gloss in the shade Seriously. This is a beautiful nude lip gloss. It has decent pigmentation to it. I do like it, and it smells like a caramel candy, and I love that. There you have it. This is the final look. Let's look at the eyes up close. I think the eyes are really fun. Look at Mary right here having fun. The eyes are really fun. The palette, I mean, it performed really well, except for this green shade. I'm still gonna work with it a little bit, but I don't like how that worked out at all. It's not really my favorite shade. And the lips really subtle, the rest of the face really subtle because we gotta go to sleep. But hopefully you guys enjoyed this tutorial. Check out the podcast, and I'm definitely gonna play some more in these palettes, but so far, I will say, I have been enjoying indie brands a lot. Makeup Menagerie, I love these palettes. I think if they release any other palettes, I'll probably pick them up. Those are probably some of the palettes that I would allow myself to pick up during my no-buy makeup diet change of lifestyle. But you're going to hear more about that in an upcoming video. I just have to film it. But yes, I will leave a full list of all the products used mentioned in this video down below in the description box, along with links on where you can pick them up. If those links bring you to Sephora or Ulta, that means they're affiliate links, and I will get a small sales commission if you shop through those links. If you're not comfortable with that, don't shop through them, girl. Just shop how you normally shop. No muss, no fuss. But if you do shop through my links, thank you so much, because it does help me to put right back into the channel. And I will also leave links to my Instagram, Twitter, and Snapchat, where you should definitely be following me along, because I've been posting more regularly and all that stuff. You know what? I haven't been posting makeup-y things, but I think that's going to change as well, because I'm trying to enjoy my collection, enjoy everything that I have going on here. So I'll probably start sharing a lot more makeup things, and it will be more like older, true love things and things in my collection. I'll probably share more collection-focused things, you know what I mean? Just to keep it fun and exciting, and I'll definitely start doing more looks, because this was really fun for me. But yeah, follow me along. If you're not already subscribed, go ahead and hit the subscribe button. If you like this video, hit the thumbs up as well, and share, favorite, all that good stuff and stuff. Only if you want to, though. There's no pressure. And until my next video, which will be very soon, I'll talk to you. Bye, guys.